During this video, I'm going to show you some very common yet effective cervical exercises common for neck pain and even for shoulder pain. As you'll start to learn from my system, neck and shoulder issues often go together. So even though this video is going to be focused on the cervical spine, please understand that you can use these for other body parts or movements as well. Here we go. The first thing I want to emphasize is I want you to notice the general position of my shoulders, not necessarily my neck, but my shoulders. Oftentimes people with neck pain or shoulder pain will find that one shoulder is higher than the other or even both. So as we start these exercises, I want you to even do this in front of a mirror or with a phone. So I want you to take special notice on the position of your neck, okay? So as I'm going through this video series, I'm gonna be constantly emphasizing the importance of keeping your shoulders down and back. All right, here we go. The first one is we're gonna focus on cervical flexion. So I want you to take your hand and place it behind your head and just nice and easy, I want you to start to let your head tilt down towards the bottom. Now, one thing that you're gonna notice is the shoulder here. A lot of times people will kind of do this, and what they're really trying to do is prevent the pressure from dipping down onto your head and shoulder. So same thing, I want you to pay attention to the position of your shoulder so that you can get the maximal and most efficient stretch. So in this position, you're going to hold it for approximately 10 seconds. And come back up this way here. I'm going to do this from the side as well so you can kind of get the same idea. Perfect. Okay. So that's going to be cervical flexion. Now we're going to cervical extension, which is we're going to be using our eyes and our head to look up. So for this, I want you to go to the point of a good stretch, but not to the point where it's painful. I'm going to do this from the side so you can kind of get a sense of the range of motion. I'm going upwards. So at the top of this movement, I'm not noticing any pain in particular. If you are, even if you went up to right here, you can back off and focus on just trying to improve your overall range of motion. So again, looking from the front, shoulders down. Even if it's up here, 5 to 10 seconds is all that you need. And then come back. The next movement is going to be cervical flexion to the side or side bending. Now, I want you to pay attention. Even my neck is kind of stiff just in general. But the overall goal is to try and get your ear to your shoulder. Now, very few people can actually do that. But at the same time, that is the overall goal. So depending on how comfortable you feel, sometimes even just a little bit of this motion right here and holding it for 10 seconds is all that you're going to need. If you wanted to add some more pressure, again, you can take the top of your hand here. Again, you see my shoulder there? I want you to keep the shoulder down and just nice and easy stretch. Now, don't force your ear to the shoulder. The goal is you should start to feel a nice, strong tension or stretch in this general area. Sometimes you might notice some discomfort on this side. Again, some discomfort is expected with this range of motion, but at the same time, if it's extremely painful and you have to back off, then back off a little bit until it's more of a stretch and not so uncomfortable. Okay, again, shoulders down. Same thing here. Looking this way here. Again, shoulders down. Keep it nice and loose. I want you to bend your head now this way. Now, you can even tell me going to my left, I'm much more stiff when compared to going to my right, but that's okay. If I go any further, it starts to get a little bit painful into this area here. So again, I'm gonna go just to the point of where I think I feel like I'm having a good stretch. Again, I get some tension on this side, a little bit of a pinch on this side. I'm gonna add a little bit more of a bend. Again, notice my shoulder was wanting to come up. I want you to drop the shoulder down. And as you can tell, I can actually get a little bit further going with this type of range of motion with the hand weight on top. okay? Now, just so that you can see here, I'm not rotating my head. Everything is still forward facing, okay? So again, nice long stretch. Pressured, uncomfortable is expected. Anything painful, you back off of that range of motion, and then you hold that position for about 10 seconds. Now this one here, also another stretch, except this time we're going to be turning our head to the right, and essentially you're going to be looking down into your armpit. So this one here is a little bit hard to do without actual hand pressure on the back of your head. So you grab the back of your head here as best as you can, turn your head this way and look into your armpit, and then a little bit of pressure down. Again, same thing. Prevent this shoulder from hiking up. That's going to be the tendency. If it is, bring it back down and you'll probably feel more of a stretch again. The tendency to come up this way is because you're trying to stretch out all of the muscles in this area. So you have to try and actively try and keep it down. If the only way you can keep it down is by backing off, then back it off. I'd rather have you have a nice long stretch with good form than just trying to look down as far as you can, but then the other end is starting to come up. So again, grab the back of your head here, turn looking towards your armpit, and then bring it down. This one in particular should feel like a nice long stretch. So again, approximately 10 seconds. I'm going to switch it to this side here. Turn my head to the left, look down. Same hand, left hand this way. Then I'm not looking forward, looking towards my armpit, making sure my shoulder isn't coming up. That's my body's way of trying to prevent the stretch from happening. You have to let it relax as best as you can. Perfect. That one felt pretty good. This next one here is what we call cervical protraction and retraction. So it's almost like you're chickening and turtling your head, okay? So this one here, you're gonna be sticking your chin out and tucking your chin back in. Now again, you're not gonna be trying to push your shoulders forward. I'm gonna turn from the side so you can kind of get a sense. So you're gonna stick your chin out, tuck your chin back in. Stick your chin out and tuck it back in. So from this side here as well, stick your chin out, tuck it back in. Stick your chin out, tuck your chin back in. Again, look at my shoulders. I'm not slouching. I'm trying to keep good posture with a starting head position with my head facing backward or towards the back, sticking out, and then pinching it back in. Now we're going to go into some of the isometric exercises, okay? Again, starting with cervical flexion, I'm going to start with the view from the side. I want you to place your hand on your head, on your forehead specifically. And for this exercise, I want you to try and go into cervical flexion, but your hand is going to be stopping you. So your hand is going to just stop the movement. You're not actually pushing into your head, okay? It's really more of your head, forehead pushing into your hand. And it's just a little bit of force. Again, monitor your shoulders to make sure they're keeping down. Hold it for 10 seconds. And then back off. Again, from this side here. Hand on your forehead. A little bit of pressure. Very, very little pressure. And then back off. Same thing from the side here. Put your hand on the right side of your head. And again, you're going to be pushing just very gentle into it. You're not going to be pushing into it where you're actually going to be leaning over. Just a little bit of pressure. Now again, watch your shoulders. You're trying to isolate this movement to purely your neck. Try to eliminate your traps from getting involved. And then back. Now you can do the same thing on your other side here. So same thing, starting with my head in neutral. A little bit of pressure there. And back. A little bit of pressure here. And back. Excellent. Now, this one here, if you can get your hands onto your head, again, this is a good starting position. We're going to be going into cervical extension, but you're going to be resisting it. Again, this should not be painful. If you can only do this with your head flexed down like this, that's fine. Right up top here, just a little bit of pressure. Look at my shoulders. I got to drop them down. Really try and isolate your cervical spine muscles. Don't involve your traps when possible. Good. Now, you might even start to look in the range of motion. I can already tell it's starting to loosen up a little bit. Okay. You can see this one part right here, still kind of tight. You notice my shoulder came up. So definitely better. Definitely better. I feel a lot of improvement, particularly with flexion extension. Still kind of tight on these sides, but that's okay. That's why you're going to be doing these 2 to 3 times a day. All right, guys, give those a try.